Welcome back to the course. This is the section on elements of a great photo. What makes a great photo? Just some basic ways of viewing. Number one, you should have an interesting subject. The story that you're trying to tell with your picture should be of interest to other people. Otherwise, they're not going to want to see it. Number two, you should have nice composition. Arrange the elements of the photograph in a way that is intriguing to the eye. Thirdly, technically be smack on. Know your camera. Know how it works. Make sure that when you take it, you are using all its features in a way that maximizes the sharpness and clarity and dynamics of the image. And also effective use of lighting. As you probably know, that lighting paints a picture. If you look at a magazine and study the pictures in the magazine, notice how the light creates contrast, which again makes the picture very interesting. Essentially, it paints it with light. Now, if you don't have a direct light like the sun or a lamp in a room, then what paints the picture is the contrast in the picture, and the contrast is caused by the difference in colors and shapes. Anyway, interesting subject, nice composition, technically smack on, and effective use of lighting and contrast. So take a look at this picture. What makes this picture work? Of course, assuming you think it works, and humbly speaking, it's my picture, I think it works. Well, what makes it work? Just take a look and watch your eye move around that picture. Just by looking at that picture, where does your eye want to go? In a good picture, your eye wanders. It doesn't stay in one place. It's curious about different aspects of the picture and really can't stay in one place. Number one, is the picture cool? I think it's pretty cool. The title is called A Calming Presence, and I was there and would love to be there again. And maybe you would too. Number two, there's nice lines. Take a look at the trees bending in the sky. Take a look at the angle of the canal and how it goes down into infinity. Look at the lines caused by the sky, the big V above the trees. The reflection also adds intrigue. It's nice, sharp. Technically, it's done well. It's in focus. Everything looks pretty sharp. And thirdly, the backlighting, having the sun come from behind, enhances, should I say, the contrast. Creates depth and mystery and dramatic contrast, and that's why I think that picture works. So point number one, you got to decide, why are you taking this picture? What is the subject of the picture? I.e., what's the essence of the content of the thing you're viewing? Is it a tree? Is it a chair? Is it people? Is it a building? Number two, have I framed the picture that makes the subject perfectly clear? So often people look at a scene, take a picture, even though the main subject is a very small part of the picture, those who took the picture look at it and can see that, but those who aren't familiar with having been to the scene you're at maybe don't kind of get your point. So make sure you frame the picture in a way that makes the subject perfectly clear. Is there anything in the frame that doesn't relate to the subject? So look around the frame. If it's a picture about a building, and let's say it's the Eiffel Tower, maybe something like that, a structure, look around the picture and see, well, is there things in the picture like maybe the half a car front, or a dead dog in the lower corner, or whatever, that doesn't relate to your subject? And if it doesn't, then get it out of there by zooming in or walking forward or moving left or moving right. So here's an example. Take a look at this picture here. It's a picture of a baby. Now, what doesn't work in that picture if the picture is about the baby? Just look around the picture and decide which doesn't work. First question would be, what's that guy doing in the back? Thirdly, look at that arm sticking into the middle of holding the bottle. Thirdly, look at that window. It's really bright. And by the way, your eye is normally attracted to brightness, the light. Now take a look at the second picture. What makes this one work? Well, if the subject is a baby feeding, in the first picture we got all kinds of things that don't relate to that. Maybe a nice contextual picture, but not about the baby feeding. In the second one, I've cropped in nice and tight so you have the eyes, the hands, the bottle, and I think it works. In fact, I quite like that picture. So the subject. Make your subject clear. What do you want people to notice? Make that clear with how you frame the picture. For example, you might tightly frame the picture like I did in the previous image. Or in this particular case, we've got a butterfly. And I've shot it so that anything else in that image is out of focus. You can't really see it, and what stands out is just the butterfly. That was my goal. Number two, what's most dominant? In this picture, you have the side of the building, the plants in front, and the tree on the left right-hand side. The subject is really the car, but because the car is so dominant, it should be pretty clear that's the subject of the picture. Number three is make the only thing in focus the subject. Here we've got the unknown cross in the front. This is the main island graveyard. In the back, you got all these hoity-toity ones, nice carved and say made in some kind of nice material. But this particular one is made of wood, and it says unknown. So the title of this picture is Unknown but Not Forgotten. So here, though you were intrigued to look at what's behind the unknown, because it's out of focus, your eye will come back to what is in focus, which is the unknown and the water droplets falling off it. Here's another example of being out of focus. This is a picture of the carver. You can see the pencil in his ear, and the picture of his carving in the background. Not a picture, it's actual carving. But the carving is a little bit out of focus. So your eye will look at him, and then it'll look at the carving. Oh, wow, look at that carving. But because it's out of focus, it'll come back to his face again. Or highlighted by light. In this particular picture, the light was shining on the rose, a little bit on the petals behind, but the rose was clearly dominant. So here, the painting of the light on the rose really creates the subject and makes it very clear. Here's another example of that with this. This is backlit. This is main island entering into, or where you're entering into Mount Park, and the light shines down. You can see a bit of the fog in this picture. It looks better on print on the wall, but you can see a bit of the mist as the light reflects through it. But really, the pathway is what's being lit. So your eye looks at the front left on the lit path and wanders into where the sun is and comes back again. Thirdly or fourthly, or whatever it is, fifthly, contrast subject matter. Here the boat and the shoreline are black, backlit, and the rest of the scene is blue, and I call this one blue mist. And so what defines the picture clearly is the contrast between the light and the dark. Now finally, sometimes the pictures are pretty messy, but however the context of the picture is important. In this particular case, this is a friend of mine who's a forger, glass forger. And he's forging. I could have made a nice picture of his shoulder, head, and arms in the fireplace, but I backed up to take a picture that included a little blowtorch in the lower right-hand side, the cooling bin in front of you with a cloth, to give you a sense of the context in which Mark works. Another one here is a picture of Ducky. He's a woodworker guy who makes signs. So there he is. He's only about a third of the picture. But all his tools, which are all smaller than him, make it clear that this guy must do some work down this basement with these tools. And that was the whole point. So the point here is take your pictures with care. After you take the picture, look at the back of your camera or your first print and say, wow, what is this picture about? Is it framed in a way that makes it clear? If someone else looked at that picture, would they understand what I was trying to take? Now in the class we ask for any questions here. If you do have any questions, you can email me, toby.snelgrove@mac.com, toby.snelgrove@mac.com. So and after this we did a class shoot, and you can do this at home. I want you to take a picture, get your camera ready, turn it on, and then put it on auto mode. We don't want you to worry about the controls yet. Just make sure it's an automatic picture. And pick a subject matter anywhere around your house, outside, around, toilet seat, buildings, trees, whatever it may be. And we were at the community center, so some people took a lot of pictures of the community center. Go take the picture, frame it, and shoot it. Maybe take 3 or 4 different pictures, and then come back in the house and find someone who doesn't know what you're doing, show them the pictures, and have them decide what they think the title is. So the critiquing is, have your partner look at the picture without telling them what the picture is all about. Ask them, what do you think the subject is? Once they know what the subject is, and either they nailed it or they didn't get it. If they didn't get it, aha, this is your opportunity to figure out, well, why? You can see what the subject is, but they can't. And have them tell you why. Well, they'll say, well, gee, it looked to be about that truck that was in the front, or the tree in the background, or I wasn't sure exactly what you're taking the picture of. From their feedback, you can decide, would I really like to take a better picture? And if so, then I want you to go back outside.